municipal association in the state to do, because it is just that confusing. It is not a tax increase. The millage rate remains the same unless your house went up in value, or unless one of the other municipalities, the county or the school board has raised taxes, your taxes remain the same. But from the city standpoint, we're maintaining level, or the proposal is to maintain level funding. So, but anyway, that concludes this public hearing. We will see you all at 2 o'clock.
We are truly honored to have Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp with us today. We greatly appreciate the governor taking time from his busy schedule to share with us some insight on important matters within our state, including those that impact us as cities and city leaders. As we all know, Governor Kemp was elected Georgia's 83rd governor in November 2018. He began his public service career in 2003 as a member of the state Senate, where he served for 4 years. In early 2010, he was appointed Secretary of State by then Governor Sonny Perdue. He won the 2010 election for a full term, and 4 years later, he was reelected. Throughout his public service career, he has always been accessible to city officials, and I can attest to that. And he has been willing to listen to our needs and concerns. As an example, in the early days of the pandemic, he worked with GMA to create an advisory committee to ensure that we had an open line of communication with his office, as well as an opportunity to suggest how the state could best assist cities in keeping our communities safe and strong. As a matter of fact, he met with the committee just prior to this session. That's how committed he is to collaboration, and we appreciate him for that. Governor, we thank you for that, and we thank you for your understanding that our public service should be bound by one common vision: to build and sustain healthy, safe, and prosperous communities that provide hope and opportunity for Georgians today, and even better quality of lives for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in giving a warm GMA welcome to the 83rd governor of this amazing state, Governor Brian Kemp. Man. Mayor Williams, your introduction's better than most speeches I hear. We appreciate your energy and certainly want to thank you for your service over the last year. I know it's been a piece of cake. Marty and I are honored to be with you. We also got one of the first daughters, our youngest, Amy Porter's here today. She's going to be moving in the dorm, going to the University of Georgia here shortly. Go Dogs. Also, just want to say how honored we are to be here. And, you know, I'm no stranger to GMA. I've been here many times in my career, certainly as Secretary of State and now as Governor. And I just appreciate you all having us back. And we're looking forward to working with Mayor Thornton and the new team as you get finished with the conference and he takes over. But again, want to wish and thank Mayor Williams. I think that deserves a round of applause for your leadership this year. There are no question that this has been challenging times, not only in our state, but also across the country and across the world. And I know you all and the folks in your communities know that very well. It's been 15 months, I guess, now as we've begun to grapple with the effects of COVID-19. And that literally affected every life in every community and every neighborhood in our state and across the country.
And I will tell you, like you all, those early days of the pandemic were some of the toughest times that Marty, the girls, and I have ever had to plow through. And I know that was the case for you at the local level and for, all of our citizens across the state. And everyone was affected, and still is, by this pandemic in grueling ways over the last 15 months. It's been heartbreaking at the loss of life and the tragedy that families and communities and community leaders that we have lost because of an invisible virus. But I will also say it has made me proud to see how resilient the people of our great state are. And your leadership is a testament to that, because we have worked well together. And I just want to thank you all for working with our office over these last 15 months to craft and implement many executive orders that we've had to protect people, but also to protect their paychecks. And I, as Mayor Williams mentioned, want to mention the GMA COVID Advisory Committee, and want to thank that group of people for their work along with our office to distribute information, but also to provide feedback to my team and myself to help us make better decisions in the future. And I certainly understand there were times where we always didn't agree on the path forward or steps that I may be taking, and I'm certain that that will probably be the case in the future. But as you all know, as elected leaders, we're expected to make tough decisions, and sometimes unpopular decisions with the best information that we have at the time are not always what everyone agrees on, and I certainly understand that. But when you're in tough times, you got to have tough people that lead, and you got to make tough decisions. And that is what I've tried to do, but also have great appreciation that you all have been doing that very thing back home, and I appreciate that. And I believe that because of that, the success of our cities and our counties are literally the foundation of our success as a state. And I realize the last year and a half has not been easy, but it's clear that our collective efforts have paved the way for a brighter, more prosperous future, literally in every corner of our state. And I, for one, am proud of that. We are the top state for business now, again, for the 8th year in a row. That is unprecedented. And believe it or not, we're breaking records on the number of jobs and the amount of investment that we're seeing in our state, even in the middle of a global pandemic. I use this figure a lot, but I continue to remind people that the state of Georgia, the unemployment rate here has dropped for 14 straight months. We have the lowest unemployment rate of the 10 most populous states. You know, you hear people talk a lot about Florida and Texas, but our unemployment rate is lower than both of them right at the moment. We've balanced our state budget without draconian cuts or widespread layoffs the last 2 years, and we've also been able to continue to fund our priorities like education, certainly health care, and public safety. In fact, this past session, we also cut taxes for hardworking Georgians by $140 million, while maintaining our AAA bond rating. We've made it easier to adopt out of foster care and expanded incentives for medical manufacturers to bring jobs, investment, and expertise back to our state and not to be monopolized by a foreign country during the middle of a global pandemic. These accomplishments are in addition to another round of meaningful new laws to put an end to human trafficking, which of course has been championed by our First Lady, Marty Kemp. I will tell you that there is, there is no one in the country that has worked as hard and done as much over the last 2.5 years, not only to end human trafficking, but also to get help to these victims of this tragic, hideous crime that has been committed on them than her and the Grace Commission. And for that, our state and our country should be grateful. From the budget standpoint, the countless pieces of legislation we deal with under the Gold Dome every year, Our office appreciates the work of the GMA legislative team and the hard work that they do on behalf of you all each and every year. And that has been the case in regards to myself for, gosh, I guess 12 and a half or 11 and a half years now. As we continue our economic momentum and move our state forward under the American Rescue Plan, Georgia will receive significant federal funds to make key investments to address the economic impacts of COVID-19, broadband expansion, and water and sewer infrastructure. Pending any change in guidance from the U.S. Treasury, and if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that there will be change, but we will figure out what it is and continue to move forward. I believe that these bipartisan Georgia Jobs and Infrastructure committees that I've set up here in our state, working with members of the General Assembly, will make sure this new funding is targeted in a way that makes smart, long-term investments in every region of our state. My hope is that these committees can work alongside GMA, ACCG, and each of you in the room today and those of your cohorts who are not, so that we're all pulling the plow in the same direction and utilizing these one-time funds smartly and efficiently. We're also planning for the future of economic development and what that means for Georgia's workforce. Last week, Marty and I were honored to hold the official launch of the Electric Mobility and Innovation Alliance meeting at the Governor's Mansion. And while Georgia is already supporting the development and diverse assets of the electric mobility industry, the Georgia Electric Mobility and Innovation Alliance's recommendations will help us continue to make strategic decisions that align with our industry's needs and bring key stakeholders together to ensure Georgia is a national leader in this ever-changing marketplace. In my opinion, this alliance will be instrumental in bringing even more jobs and investments to your communities in the months and years to come. Thanks to the decades of conservative leadership and a balanced approach to fighting this pandemic, I believe our state is moving in the right direction, and brighter and more prosperous days, as Vince talked about, are ahead. We have overcome a lot together, and I believe our future holds incredible opportunity for all Georgians, no matter what their zip code is or what neighborhood they reside in. There's also no question that we still have challenges ahead. A life-saving vaccine
The harder and the colder that ice is, the faster that you can skate. So therefore, ice hockey players prefer it to be cold and hard, while a figure skater or somebody who's doing tricks using a toe pick wants a softer ice so that they can dig in and perform their jumps.
Next up, the surface will cure for more than a month. Then contractors can get back on the surface, start to work on the 50,000-pound scoreboard to be hung in the center of the arena.
So the master plan, the master timeline is still on time. This arena will be open in early 2022. By the end of 2022, we'll see hockey at the Enmarket Arena. Ken Slatz for SGTV City Span. Ken Slatz here with your early August 2021 Savannah City Council meeting recap, and we have a lot to talk about. The millage rate stays the same. Council approved 12.739. So that equals $12.74 of taxes per $1,000 of your assessed property value. The millage rate remains the same. However, with the value of property going up, it will be a slight increase in taxes compared to the previous year. Following July's unanimous approval for new city manager Jay Melder, council followed up with a unanimous vote to approve his employment agreement or contract. Melder will lead a staff of nearly 2,500 employees under an annual salary agreement of $260,000. He's finishing up as assistant city administrator in Washington, D.C., and will start here in Savannah on September 10th. More council approvals relating to our new Enmarket Arena. More than $600,000 for furniture to use throughout the facility. Now that's for common areas, restaurant and private loges and offices. The funding is for chairs, sofas, tables, etc. The bid was awarded to Center Office Systems, a local business from here in Savannah. Now also approved nearly $300,000 for 2 new Zambonis. That's the popular machines that clean the ice. Unlike most Zambonis, these are electric machines. They don't emit any greenhouse gas emissions, which is healthier indoors and directly supports the city's 100% clean energy goals. And finally, more movement toward affordable housing. Another title transfer for a property on Cumming Street from the city to the Land Bank Authority for renovations. This is a neighborhood the city has used as a pilot program to work toward improving neighborhoods. You can see this is revitalization at its best. It's all part of an initiative bringing renovation of blighted, abandoned properties to low and modest income persons. Transfer titles were also approved for properties on Magazine Avenue. Now that's on Savannah's west side, and Graydon Street on the east side. You can always check out our full council meetings on SGTV Comcast Channel 8 or our City of Savannah Facebook page. There's also a link on the homepage of savannahga.gov. You can also check out the agenda online, savannahga.gov/agenda. I'm Ken Slatz. That's been your Savannah City Council meeting recap.
It's a great resource for the city.
Catherine Renner reached out to 311 seeking assistance for a couple of dying trees.
Good morning. Thanks for calling Savannah 311. Amanda speaking. How may I help you?
She was extraordinarily professional, helpful, and took my name, took my information, said she'd let me know what the outcome would be.
The city promptly responded, a perfect example of the efficiency of calling 311 for your non-emergency issue.
It was very helpful to have a number to call for, to send up a distress signal about something. It's a great resource for the city, and I've always been met with great help. They've always been very helpful and always followed up.
What goes down our storm drains goes directly to where we swim, boat, and fish. Having clean rivers and beaches starts on your street. That makes our storm runoff a precious resource. Yes, Savannah has crews that keep our storm drains clean. We also have 6,531 storm drains, with more on the way. We can use a little help. Become a drain warrior. Adopt your neighborhood storm drain. Keep it clear of litter and debris. It takes just a few minutes and can keep your home and neighborhood from flooding. Save a fish. Make a crab happy. Become a shining beacon of hope in your neighborhood. For dry streets, clean water, and a well-drained Savannah, become a drain warrior today.
Good morning, and let me call this informal board meeting of Savannah Chatham Board of Public Education to order. This is Wednesday, August 11th, 2021, and this is the informal meeting. It is being streamed live for those of you who are not in the room but who want to watch. We have our board members here, and Dr. Bringman is on the phone, and Ms. Grabowski was caught by the train, so she will be here momentarily. As I say always, this informal meeting is a time for us to gather information. There are no formal board motions taken and any votes taken. It is strictly for information purposes and to inform all of us. This morning, our first presentation is on the DAS report on teaching and learning. And Ms. Ball Oliver, you taking charge? Ms. Akins and Ms. Ball Oliver.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Ball Oliver and I will present the highlights for teaching and learning that occurred to ensure students and teachers continued instructional delivery during the 2020-2021 school year. These are a few of the highlights. In fall 2020-2021, all students started with 100% virtual learning and teaching for students and for teachers. Devices and cameras were distributed to staff and students to support virtual learning for all. To ensure families had internet connectivity, hotspots were provided to assist those families and those students. WOW, also known as the Wi-Fi on Wheels, this was an initiative that also assisted families during virtual learning to keep them connected to their teachers. Not all families participated in virtual learning, as paper packets and refueling stations were provided to meet the needs of all of the students. The goal was to eliminate any barriers between teachers and students during this crucial time in education. A new model of learning during the 2020-2021 school year was the Savannah Chatham E-Learning Academy, also known as SELA. As you all know, that is in high demand at this time. Asynchronous learning and synchronous learning occurred between teachers and students. Also, Cognia Accreditation Readiness Review took place during the first year of the implementation of this facility. These students were also provided with opportunities for socialization while following the district COVID-19 protocols. We wanted to ensure that they had the opportunity to have some socialization and activities as they participated in E-Learning Academy. We then transitioned to virtual from virtual to hybrid learning. Students still had the option to remain 100% virtual. Priorities were set for re-entry into in-person learning. In Phase 1, least independent learners, ESOL, and transition grades entered our schools. Semester 1 expanded access to other students as the hybrid rotation, which included Wednesdays and deep cleaning, started. Second semester, we moved on to the 3-2 rotation model, and it provided additional in-person learning while limiting the student capacity in our schools, with students being placed on A or B cohorts. In addition, professional learning was put in place for dual teaching to ensure that the persons or the students that were 100% virtual received the same instruction that the in-person learning students had the opportunity to participate in. Then, the Twilight program was also put in place to support the schedules of our pre-K parents and our kindergarten through 12 parents. So these are just a few of the teaching models that we utilized during the 2020-2021 school year.
We also, during this time, provided a number of resources for not only our teachers, but our learners as well. We had professional learning for our instructional staff. We provided them with training as it relates to dual teaching, how to properly flip a classroom. We also provided training as well as online tools for them, such as Nearpod and Jamboard. Our curriculum and instruction team started the curriculum warehouse, where a lot of resources were housed to support our teachers. We also implemented the It's Learning, which is our learning management system, to make it easy for students and teachers and parents to be able to log in and participate in instruction. Also, for our teaching staff, we had the instructional support centers to ensure that our teachers were able to come to work and rest assured that their children who met the criteria to participate were being well cared for. For our learners, we had Storia, Amiria, which also had a dual language capability. We had iReady, Edgenuity. Our Edgenuity classes had multi-language capability for our students, and we utilized USA Test Prep for our secondary students. And of course, one of our biggest endeavors was our summer learning program, and it extended our learning throughout the summer. It was our Embrace program for students in grades K through 12. We offered high-quality instruction with a focus on literacy and mathematics. We served more than 6,000 students, and it was designed specifically to reduce the achievement gap while also providing opportunities for acceleration. Our student data was used to support our teachers as they work with them this upcoming school year. And for our high school students, as well as our lower grades, we did have opportunities for credit acquisition so that they could move forward. The enrichment portion of our Embrace program was designed through summer camp experiences for students like robotics, cosmetology, culinary, and various STEM camps. We also had opportunities for 109 of our high school students to support the elementary and middle school camps and work in various departments and divisions through our SWAP program. This was created by our Office of College and Career Readiness, and it was our summer workforce apprenticeship program. And those students are some of them continuing to work this school year. We provided athletic camps as well for our students in grades 3 through 8. We did cheerleading, golf, soccer, and lacrosse. So as we move forward to school, we did a number of great things. We wanted to make sure that we were able to use that data to assist us as we opened and supported our students. So it's going to assist our teachers in scaffolding the instruction for support and acceleration. It will aid them in providing learning plans for our students so that we can support them as we work to close any gaps around knowledge and skills. We are using the data that was collected from not only last school year, but our Summer Embrace program especially, to actually support their mastery of standards. That data is being shared with teachers. We have intentional support structures for learning. So we have instructional focus in many of our schools' schedule, but also some of our high schools and middle schools are using their master schedule to embed support classes to provide additional learning opportunities for students. We have before and after school interventions, as well as developing strong social, emotional learning lessons and supports, and we are utilizing Panorama, and we'll have teams in our schools that will support the implementation of this program to support our efforts as it relates to social emotional learning. And at this time, any questions?
Before I open it to other board members, my own personal question first is, as we move through the year and then through the Embrace program this summer, what kinds of social, emotional concerns, deficits did we find?
So with Panorama, some of the things that we found are our children had not been in close proximity or been able to actually socialize face-to-face with each other. So sometimes we find that their communication skills in terms of that and their interaction skills need support. With Panorama, we actually give them a survey in the fall, and then it gives us actual lessons and strategies that we can use, our guidance counselors as well as our homeroom teachers and our teachers as advisors, to work with students and their families to support them. And then we actually work through those goals and lessons, and then we'll give another assessment to see if we're making progress, understanding that there are monitors and checkpoints along the way.
Thank you. Other questions from board members? Dr. Howard Hall.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for the job that you've done. It's a lot of work that has been involved the entire year of last year, and I know you're working much this year as well. We're talking about the different learning models and the teaching and learning models and resources, which has all been documented, and it's excellent because you have done so much. But are there any discussions on possible having year-round school? Because now would be a great time to begin to at least discuss it due to learning loss, to mitigate learning loss, and with the ARPA funding that's coming in, and with everything that's going on, because we do know that our children have really missed out. Some have and some have not. So is there any discussion?
So I will tell you that we are in discussions regarding our Summer Embrace program continuing and bringing that back. And of course, each year we look at our data, we look at how we did things, we work to make it better and more robust so that we expand those opportunities for students and encourage them to participate. So we are looking at a bigger expansion of our Embrace program to try and encourage more families to be involved and participate.
And I guess, part of encouraging them and mandating is just two different things. Because we encourage them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to participate. And as a school district, we do an awesome job with accommodating our families, but we can improve on the mandating. And that's something I probably really need to seriously look into.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Hall?
I'm going to back up Dr. Howard Hall and say that this needs to become a focus of our discussions rather than a sidebar. And she's absolutely correct that we could have the greatest of summer programs, but if it's not part of our mandatory regular school year, it's not going to have the effect that an actual year-round school would have. So I'm another board member who would like us to bring this into more focused discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Dr. Hoskins Brown.
Thank you, and thank you for the report. I'm really connecting more to the comments of my colleagues. My question is, has board leadership started to develop the agenda for our retreat this year, and is this something that could be on that agenda?
We could certainly look at it.
Thank you.
Ms. Hines?
Well, I would just like to say thank you, administrative team, for all that you've done this year, and I know it has been very difficult, but through it all that you've given it yourself, your full self. So thank you for all that you've done. And me being a grandparent, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members? I would ask one other question, and that is, most of what I saw on that on that presentation were things we probably never even considered a year ago or a year and a half ago. What long-lasting pieces will you take from there other than expanding Embrace?
So you're correct. As the superintendent mentioned on several occasions, we're moving forward to school and not backwards. So we will always be looking at those implementations that worked really well this year and build on that. So our mantra is we're moving forward, not backwards.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Aiken. Any other comments from board members? Dr. Bringman, do you have any questions?
No comment at this time. Thank you for the report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your report and for the good work. We appreciate you. Mr. Jackson now for financials.
Good morning, everyone. I'm beginning to think Kurt left something off of the agenda.
Me too.
Right on time. Exactly. Thank you, Kurt. I'll bring to you the financial statements for the for the school year and fiscal year ending June 30th. For all funds, for the general fund revenues, local property taxes are 104% of the budget, which is higher than last year of 97%. I think we pointed out most of the year that we were surprised that collections continued to come in at the rate that they did. So we are very grateful of that. The actual revenues in the general fund are 100% of the current modified budget, which is higher than last year of 97%. We still have tax collections for the month of July and August that will also get added to the FY21 school year, so we should finish the year above the 100%. Actual expenditures, in total for the general fund, we're 92% of the current modified budget, which is about a little less than where we were last year of 93%. We do have some expenditures left, some benefit expenditures that will occur during the summer, but again, we're going to finish pretty good on the expenditures. We're going to be below budget. So we will be in a position where we will add a little more money to fund balance. The fund that we're going to highlight this month is Fund 581, which is the Magnet School Program grant. I guess during the pandemic, someone in Washington went and found some old records about the Magnet School grants and dusted those off and made those available to school districts. But I think we pointed out that the district was awarded a $15 million grant that will occur over 5 years at 3 particular schools, if I'm not mistaken, A.B. Williams, Hubert, and Savannah High. In order to meet the statutory purpose of this program, projects must support the development and implementation of magnet schools that assist in the achievement of systematic reforms and provide all students with the opportunity to meet challenging academic content and student academic achievement standards. Projects support the development and design of innovative education methods and practices that promote diversity and increase choices in public education programs. The program supports capacity development, the ability of a school to help all of its students meet more challenging standards through professional development and other activities that will enable the continued operation of the magnet schools at a high performance level after the funding ends. Finally, the program supports the implementation of courses of instruction in magnet schools that strengthen students' knowledge of academic subjects and their grasp of tangible and marketable vocational skills. Again, this is the first year of the Lighthouse Grant, which has a budget of just over $2.8 million. And the update on school food service. We're currently showing a net profit of $1.4 million. Food service, just like the other funds, we do have some benefit expenditures that are going to hit during the month, of July and August that will get added. But in total, we should finish the year in the black for food service with contribution from the general fund and with the help we were able to get from the CARES grant. So we should finish this year in the black and contribute some money to their fund balance at the end of this fiscal year. That completes my report. Any questions?
Questions of Mr. Jackson? Ms. Hall.
Mr. Jackson, last week, you probably haven't even had a chance to look at it, but I sent you and Dr. Levette an email that from an article I had read in the Times where they're giving the federal government, I guess, is giving tax credits to businesses who were able to retain their employees during the entirety of the pandemic. And I was just wondering if there's any way that we fit that criteria, or are they just talking about private businesses?
Yes, ma'am. I do have my staff following up on that. Initially, when it started last year, it was for small businesses, but we are doing some research and reaching out to our auditors to see if we apply. I know one of the requirements is businesses would have to show a loss in revenue. Actually, we haven't shown a loss in revenue, but we're gonna get some more information, and I'll bring that back to the board.
All right, thank you.
And I may ask our resident attorney to help us out in the capacity of a board member.
Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. The new fund, the MSAP Lighthouse Fund, could you tell me again the schools?
They are A.B. Williams, Hubert Middle School, and Savannah High School.
Okay. And then you said this is Fund 581, so we don't have a sheet for that now, is that? Because 581 on here is seized property.
Oops. See here, make sure it's not mislabeled. And I could have swore I was just on that.
Oh, there it was.
Oops.
Okay, so it's 451.
451, I'm sorry.
Got it. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Other comments, questions? Mr. Johnson?
I would like to thank you for the report. It's always very inspiring at the end of the year when we have extra revenue and we're able to put it into our fund balance. So I would like to say that I know that in this budget we're looking at getting rid of some of the debt that we have with the additional fund, the overage on the fund balance, which is always a great thing to do as a public entity to get rid of debt in the fiscal year. So I'm glad that we were able to get in more than budgeted on the revenue.
Correct.
And that people were paying their property taxes like they're supposed to, like responsible adults. And also, the other support salaries that's at the 106.1%. Was that because of COVID and having people out, or
yes, that
having
picks
additional
up
staff?
Picks up items, for instance, like overtime, substitute teachers, the supplemental staff that we have to call in when we don't have full-time staff available.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Any final comments from board members on the state of the economy, or world peace?
Don't open that box.
Oh, I don't think we should go there, actually. Yes,
I
ma'am.
would just like to again thank the finance department for the job that they're doing, and it hasn't been easy for them as well. So we thank you, sir, for you and your team, efficient service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Anything else? Board members, we are adjourned, but we will need a motion to go into executive session shortly after noon. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Dr. Hoskins-Brown moves, Ms. Hines seconds. All in favor, raise your hands. Dr. Brinkman, do you vote yes?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We're adjourned, and let's try for, will lunch be here by 11:45? Is it here? Well, let's try for our closed session about noontime then. That gives us some time. Thank you.
Dr. Brinkman? You doing it here or there? Dr. Brinkman?
Yes, what's that?
Yeah, I'll call you back about 5 minutes.
Here on Tybee, there are days when people can't get to work or can't get to school. Unfortunately, flooding is a routine event that we need to better understand because it's no longer a once every 100 years kinds of issue.
Our data is really helping to this community understand not just where water levels are today, but also think about where water levels are going to be in 20, 30, 50 years. This is something that's in this community's doorstep right now, threatening the lives and livelihoods of every resident in Chatham County. The Smart Sea Level Sensor project is a project that involves a partnership between Georgia Tech researchers and Chatham County and City of Savannah partners merged to tackle coastal flooding. What we're doing is we're installing real-time internet-equipped sensors across the county to relay data back on the status of water levels across the area, and our joint purpose is to keep people safe during increasing events of flooding across the county.
We've seen a noticeable increase in the number of flood events here in Chatham County and really along the whole Georgia coast. This is happening with a much higher frequency. Also, more recently, a number of hurricane named storm events that have affected the community led to evacuations at a much more regular basis.
This is cutting-edge technology that's being applied in real time to our city, and this is going to help inform our decisions and save lives. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that. So for Georgia Tech to come down here and offer this capability to our city, it's an incredible opportunity and one that I'm looking forward to growing into the future.
There's several components of the water sensor project that are instrumental in decision-making when it comes to an emergency response. With having these sensors throughout the community, it allows us to see in real time where the flooding issues are and allows us to be able to make real-time decisions as to where resources need to be deployed.
And so you think about the tourism industry, you think about the fishing industry. These are aspects where if you have a degraded environment because of coastal flooding that goes unmanaged, then you're going to have immediate impacts on the lives and livelihoods of residents here.
This project is completely about the partnership with Georgia Tech and the local community at all levels, the cities, the counties. The partnerships that they have brought to the table and the investment that they have brought is critical for the success of this project.
So students are our best asset at Georgia Tech. I mean, we have this crop of amazingly talented students, and they actually are clamoring for real-world experiences. They want to be part of the climate solution.
And to see really these world-renowned professionals and academicians really take an interest in what's happening here locally, we're gratified for that. We think it's necessary. Obviously, the better we are able to forecast and understand our environment and how water flows in and around us, the better we are for emergency planning, for ingress and egress out of our community.
It is really around how we engage the community in this work and understanding all this really highly technical data that we're receiving on sea level rise, but translating that into something that's relevant for Savannah's day-to-day residents.
It's basically a tool for making large-scale physical maps of the places we live. And these maps can run up to 16 feet or bigger. The projection on that table guides people as they identify which are the streets, the parks, the waterways, and other elements that make up their neighborhoods that are important to them. This creates just a kind of a rich context for people to have all kinds of discussions about what matters to them and how to make representations of the place they live that accurately represents their experience.
In their classrooms, students can work with the data that we're learning from the sensors, but also actually putting the sensors together, assembling them, working with Jenkins High School here in Savannah, where the students have actually been doing the assembly, and 30 of the ones we have deployed, they were a part of.
Here at Jenkins with the Smart Sea Level project, after you get your initial assignments done, you get assigned to either soldering or getting the cases ready.
Knowing that they have their hands on a project that could help people in the future is pretty important to them. We're not just doing this for immediate response, we're working on something that could have, future impacts 25, 30, 50 years from now.
The engagement and awareness that they talked about was critical to where we are with Savannah. I really want the citizens to really own this process, to feel like they're a part of it.
This change is going to take quite a bit of time and quite a bit of conversations that have to be made respectfully, with sensitivity to the economic pressures, the cultural drivers, and the capacity needs to be built from the ground up.
Georgia Tech is listening, responding, and coming up with ideas and solutions that the community can then assess, agree with, and implement.
This is the reality that we're living in and the global climate that we have. Sea level is going to continue to rise, and how do we inject that into our urban plan, into our neighborhoods, to better inform us and make better decisions in the future?
We are here for the long-term process as well, and everybody needs to know that, and that's how you build lasting partnerships that can be impactful in something as sticky as coastal flooding.
I just wanted to say that the Savannah Fire Department is proud to honor its best and brightest for outstanding and service and heroism in 2020. Each year, we honor those who have made significant contributions to the department, and this year, we will be able to honor those who made very heroic actions at our Eastern Wharf fire and other unusual events that happened during this past year, which was so unusual itself. But we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance by Chief Handy.
If you'd please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And we'd like Mayor Johnson to come up and have a few words.
Thank you and good morning. Chief Menard, members of leadership team, to our families that are here, and particularly to Savannah's bravest. It is my honor to be here to represent the Savannah City Council in expressing our thanks and appreciation for those that are true heroes in our community, to celebrate those who run toward danger instead of running away from it. We recognize that for quite some time, we have not been able to do what we do. We have not been able to do how we used to do them. And obviously you all know why. It's evidenced by the fact that we're all wearing masks in this city-owned facility. But we recognize that the recognition needs to occur. We recognize that we need to celebrate just how far we've come, and we need to come celebrate the best and brightest among the best and brightest in the fire service in our nation. I will certainly tell you, and I know this, and I make it a very big bragging point, that we have among us the best trained, the most competent individuals employed in the fire service anywhere in the country. They're not necessarily always the best cooks, but they try the best that they can. But we appreciate them for what they do and how they do it, what they mean to our city. I will tell you that just about 2 weeks ago, I was involved in a car accident, actually just around the corner from here. And outside of my detail officer who was following me, Savannah Fire was the first to show up. And almost everybody showed up. It was like, I'm good, I'm really good. But that just shows you the competence of our wonderful fire service. So to those that we are celebrating promotions, we thank them. To those that we're celebrating great acts of bravery, we thank them. To those that have had a variety of achievements, we congratulate you. And particularly for those that have given the best of their service and have walked away, we thank them as well. And we don't take that for granted. So on behalf of the city, again, we thank you all so much for being here. To our families, thank you for sharing your loved ones with us. And certainly, as you know, once you're stuck with us as a family, we'll always be family. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll have Chief Derek Menard come up and greet you as well.
Good morning. I'm Derek Menard. I'm the fire chief of the Savannah Fire Department. I would like to thank and welcome Mayor Johnson, City Council. We have Assistant Chief Handy and Assistant Chief Kitchen with us this morning, Savannah Fire staff, Choate Construction, Eastern Wharf, Collective Marketing, and all family and friends who are here today to celebrate with us. We also would like to acknowledge those that may be watching through Facebook Live. I would like to thank our Public Information Officer, Janelle Few, for making this event happen during this difficult time. This is a day of celebration, a celebration of accomplishments and successes of many members of our great department. We will honor promotions, unit commendations, personal achievements, and retirements. This ceremony is 1.5 years in the making. Typically, this would be separated into different events, and we would do this once a year or perhaps twice a year. We had hoped for an event to have everybody in the same room. The pandemic has stifled our ability to gather as groups and celebrate as a family and community. Unfortunately, we're still living in this time. However, life in Savannah continues, and the pandemic has not slowed the men and women of the Savannah Fire Department. We have run our emergency calls, we continue to train and be fit for duty, we hire firefighters and train them, we perform business inspections and open new occupancies. We investigate fires, we provide fire education, we work through emergency management, we expand our services into critical emergency medical response, and we gave over 10,000 vaccinations to the community. Savannah Fire did not sit idle, but we marched forward and continued to provide exceptional service to the community. Savannah Fire made a conscious choice to be progressive and work through the adaptive challenges with creative solutions. What you will witness today reflects this commitment to the community. This program will be divided into 2 parts, and there will be a brief break in between the 2 sections. We will begin the program recognizing promotions. It is an honor to distinguish individuals who have set personal goals to achieve the next level of leadership. As we honor each person, they will receive their helmet or their helmet shield. When a person is promoted to a chief officer, they receive a white helmet. This signifies that they are a chief officer and they're easily identified on the fire ground as the person in charge or part of the command staff. When a person is promoted to captain, they receive a red helmet. This signifies that they are a company officer. When promoting to engineer, the person keeps their black helmet but receives a new helmet shield identifying their rank. We will recognize a promotion to assistant chief. That is a big accomplishment in the fire service. This rank is of high esteem. It's an executive fire officer, and this person helps guide the department in setting policy, budget, strategic goals and initiatives, and is an expert in their craft. We will recognize battalion chiefs as signified by the white helmet. These officers are responsible for command and control of a fire or other significant emergencies. This is a coveted position that manages 5 stations and their personnel. They train their people, develop them, guide them, and perform other managerial duties. A BC can be in operations, emergency medical services, training, special operations, or fire prevention. We will honor captain promotions as signified by the red helmet. This person is a company officer who's responsible for the crew on an engine company, an aerial truck, or a rescue. They train their personnel and make the initial decisions when attacking a fire or mitigating an emergency. They lead their crews into the thick of the fire. They are the ones who are responsible for safe operations and making sure the task gets done. We will honor engineers, as signified by the new helmet shield. This is our first level company supervisor. This person drives the fire apparatus and provides safe operation to and from the calls. They pump the water and they understand hydraulics to ensure the job can get done. They train and develop new firefighters, and they have many other roles. The second area of this first group we're going to honor will be unit commendations. We had an awards committee revamp our awards criteria, and we will honor many recipients today. We will honor those who pulled people from burning buildings, pulled victims from water off a bridge, and helped revive patients who did not have a pulse and were not breathing. With Savannah Fire responding to critical emergency medical calls, we are arriving on scene quickly, starting life-saving maneuvers and saving lives. In the past 9 months, our firefighters have made a significant difference and impact on our citizens. Many Savannians are alive today because of our firefighters' efforts. I believe you will be impressed with how many commendations are given out as a reflection on the impact that they have made. At this time, I would like to introduce Chaplain Kempi Womble to lead us in prayer.
Thank you. This ceremony is really special for me. This is my first ceremony, but if it wasn't for the quick response and the brave men and women, I would have lost a good friend of mine that saved his life. So I'm honored to be here today, and let's give honor where honor's deserved, and that's our Heavenly Father. So let's pray. So Heavenly Father, we just thank you right now for this opportunity to come together and celebrate the achievements of outstanding men and women. And we thank you for family, we thank you for friends, co-workers, the city of Savannah that have come here today to recognize and to honor hard work and sacrifice. Lord, bless them and protect them, each one of them as they perform their daily duties. And Lord, we lift up the leaders, Father, the departments. Lord, bless them with direction and wisdom in everything they do to carry out their duties. And Father, we thank you that Savannah Fire Department will continue to be a department of excellence. And God, we just thank you for your word. We stand on your word. We believe it. We thank you for no sickness, no disease can come upon us, our families, or our community, God. Father, we just give you all the praise and glory in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. So let's get started with Group A. Elsie Kitchen for promotion to Assistant Chief Logistics. Joseph Shaw for promotion to Battalion Chief and a unit commendation for work with Engine 3 A Shift to revive a patient with no pulse in the 200 block of East Broad on November 18th, 2020. Jeffrey Croslin for promotion to Battalion Chief. Battalion Chief Stephen Frazier, promotion to Battalion Chief. Jason Jacobs for promotion to Captain. Kenneth Baker for promotion to Captain. Joel Hires for promotion to Captain. Okay, Michael Dodd for promotion to Captain. Jonathan Sturgis for promotion to Captain. Jeffrey Hobart for promotion to Captain. Joshua Homan for promotion to Captain. Herman Oswell for promotion to Captain. Morgan Windsor for promotion to Captain. Trevor Jaha for promotion to Fire Engineer and for 2020 Fittest Firefighter Runner-Up. Matt Maringola for promotion to Fire Engineer. Sean O'Connor for promotion to Fire Engineer. Christopher Schoenfeld for promotion to Fire Engineer. Christopher Berry for promotion to fire engineer. Nicholas Briganti for promotion to fire engineer. Evan Mobley for promotion to fire engineer. Chad Osterland for promotion to fire engineer. Captain Sam Coppola, unit commendation for work with engine 8A shift to revive an unresponsive patient in the 1000 block of East Victory Drive on November 11th, 2020. Advanced firefighter Brent Copenhaver, unit commendation for work with engine 8A shift to revive an unresponsive patient in the 1000 block of East Victory Drive on November 11, 2020. Advanced firefighter Rachel Scott, unit commendation for work with engine 3A shift to revive a patient with no pulse in the 200 block of East Broad on November 18, 2020. Advanced firefighter Christopher Bargeron, unit commendation for work with engine 3A shift to revive a patient with no pulse in the 200 block of East Broad on November 18, 2020. Advanced firefighter Darren Bradley for 2019 fittest firefighter and a unit commendation for work with engine 3A shift to revive a patient with no pulse in the 200 block of East Broad on November 18, 2020. Bradley was a police officer before we snuck him over here to the right side. Fire engineer Dwayne Hendricks for promotion to fire engineer and a unit commendation for work with engine 7 and rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of east of Lovett Drive on September 25th, 2020. Fire engineer Roger Williams for promotion to fire engineer and a unit commendation for work with engine 7 and rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of Lovett Drive on September 25, 2020. Advanced firefighter Daniel Lucas, unit commendation for work with engine 7 and rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of Lovett Drive on September 25, and a unit commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Fire engineer William King, unit commendation for work with Engine 7 and Rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of Lovett Drive on September 25, 2020. Fire engineer William Fulton for promotion to fire engineer and a unit commendation for work with Engine 7 and Rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of Lovett Drive on September 25, 2020. Advanced firefighter Michael Schoenfeld, unit commendation for work with Engine 7 and Rescue 2B shift to revive an unresponsive electrocution patient in the 5700 block of Lovett Drive on September 25, 2020.
Okay, as you can see, what I mentioned in the first half of this program, that we do have a lot of honorees to acknowledge today. And so thank you for that. Thank you for being patient with us as we go through this. It's a very important ceremony that we're having this morning. So we're getting ready to move into the second half of our program. And in the second half, we're going to continue to honor firefighters that have been promoted. So we're going to hear some more promotions, as well as other unit accommodations. We're going to honor a few other groups in the second half. We're going to honor our fittest firefighters. Savannah Fire prides ourselves on being fit for duty, both mentally and physically. Each year, all commissioned firefighters go through a physical fitness test as defined by national standards. This tests cardio fitness, strength, and overall health. We take pride in our overall fitness, and we honor those who have achieved the highest level of fitness in each category. These individuals receive the highest scores in the department. We recognize the fittest firefighter, and we also recognize the fittest senior firefighter, the firefighter over 50. And no, it's not me. Each year we do have a tie. So the last 2 years we did have a tie, and that's a really nice problem to have on our fire department. Next, we will honor firefighters who demonstrated exceptional bravery in the fighting of the Eastern Wharf Fire. So the Eastern Wharf Fire, if you're not familiar with it, was on the east end of our city, and we call it a once-in-a-career type fire. It was a 6-story building that sat on top of a podium, fully involved, under construction, and it was a firefight of the ages for firefighters. I want to express how proud I am as fire chief of this department in handling that fire. One thing with the Savannah Fire Department, I'm totally going off script here, is that we are the best in the nation. Fighting that fire demonstrated that. The resources, the creativity, the bravery, what the men and women of Savannah Fire did to stop that fire is above and beyond and just remarkable. I was on scene as it unfolded. I witnessed it from the beginning. We all played a big role in it, every member of this department. And it was just remarkable to watch it happen. You know, as firefighters, we get on a fire like that, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, and we walk up to it and with our command staff and we see a fire and it's like, okay, yep, we have a big fire. And we put our heads together. How are we going to mitigate it? How are we going to stop it? What are we going to do? What can we save? And so forth. And so we all came together, and we do have a part of this program that's going to honor that. During this historic fire, we had approximately 90 firefighters on scene. We had the water we put on that fire, we estimated over 19 million gallons of water. We used our all hazards fire vessel, which is our fireboat, to pump the east side of the fire, as well as our aerial ladders and firefighters and hand lines and so forth. It was remarkable. The particular firefighters we're going to honor today, they cut 2 trench cuts on top of the building. So we had 2 large structures, and they were connected in the middle. And we sent 2 crews on top to do 1 trench cut, and then we had to send another crew up a little bit later to do a second trench cut. A trench cut is when you go from side to side on the building, and you open it up, and the idea is for the fire to come through, then come up and out. And the idea is to stop the fire in its tracks. And we were able to accomplish that. And so we were going to honor the firefighters that did those 2 cuts today. In addition to that, the building that we ended up saving on the north end of the complex was worth approximately $8 million. Again, this was an all-hands effort. It took several departments, and we're going to recognize the group for their contribution. We would like to thank Choate Construction and Eastern Wharf for helping us honor these individuals. In addition, they sponsored this event for the Savannah Fire Department, and for that we're grateful. They sponsored this event in order for us to recognize all members of the fire department, not just for this particular event. This includes our retirees and the gifts that they are going to receive. In addition, all members of the fire department and the other departments who served on the Eastern Wharf scene, they will be receiving a ribbon, a unique ribbon, that is for fighting that fire. So that will be coming at a later date. Again, I want to thank Choate Construction and Eastern Wharf for sponsoring this. Third, we will recognize our Firefighter of the Year, our Engineer of the Year, and our Fire Officer of the Year. These individuals have demonstrated exceptional Savannah Fire values, high level of skill, top job performance, and exceptional service to others. This is a prestigious honor, as there are 318 members of this department, and these three have risen to the top. Finally, we will honor our retirees. Savannah Fire is one of the best, if not the best, fire department in the nation, which I've mentioned several times as well as the mayor. We pride ourselves on our extensive history of being founded in 1759. We honor those who have come before us and paved the way for our success. Today, we honor those who have done just that and have built Savannah Fire into the great department it is today. We will recognize these brave firefighters who serve this community with selflessness, pride, and excellence. One note, their retirement gifts did not make it in time. We were given the COVID excuse, and I know Gene Linton is going to let me know all about it because he's been waiting for this axe for about 1.5 years. But they are coming, I promise. Those who have served the department 15 to 20 years will receive a plaque. Those who serve 20 to 25 years will receive a bronze bell that is absolutely beautiful. And those who serve 25 years or more will receive a bronze full-size axe with a custom Savannah Fire logo on it. And they are beautiful. Now we will continue with our program.
Okay. Please join me in celebrating the dedication, sacrifice, and heroism of our final group of honorees, beginning with Advanced Firefighter Logan Gutierrez, Unit Commendation for work with Truck 2B Shift to rescue residents from a burning apartment building in the 200 block of West Montgomery Cross Road on October 20, 2020. Firefighter Austin Lewis, Unit Commendation for work with Truck 2B Shift to rescue residents from a burning apartment building in the 200 block of West Montgomery Cross Road on October 20, 2020. Advanced Firefighter Frank D. Amico, Unit Commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Captain Christopher Hanks for promotion to captain and a unit commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Captain Roy Howard, Unit Commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Captain Christopher Fennell, Unit Commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Fire Engineer Michael Green, Unit Commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. Fire Engineer Tyler Hall for promotion to Fire Engineer and a unit commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue a motorist who was knocked off a bridge on January 17, 2020. It took a lot of people to get that guy off that bridge. Fire Engineer Jeremy Veal for promotion to Fire Engineer and a unit commendation for work with Rescue 1, Engine 3, and Truck 5B Shift to rescue that motorist who was knocked off the bridge on January 17, 2020. Fire Engineer Curtis Parker for 2020 Fittest Firefighter. You have to flex in your picture. Captain Dietrich Chappell, our 2020 fittest senior firefighter, and he's going to drop and give us 20. No? Advanced Firefighter Vincent Duray for demonstrating exceptional bravery during the Eastern War Fire on February 27, 2020, and making the rooftop trench cuts that diverted the flames from the northern end of the structure. Fire Engineer Jared Vaughn for demonstrating exceptional bravery during the Eastern War Fire on February 27, 2020, and making rooftop trench cuts that diverted the flames from the northern end of the structure. Captain Scott Boyd for demonstrating exceptional bravery during the Eastern War Fire on February 27, 2020, and making rooftop trench cuts that diverted the flames from the northern end of the structure. Captain Brian Bellato for promotion to captain for earning a unit commendation while working with Truck 2 B Shift to rescue residents from a burning apartment building in the 200 block of West Montgomery Crossroad on October 20, 2020, and for demonstrating exceptional bravery during the Eastern War Fire on February 27, 2020, and making rooftop trench cuts that diverted the flames from the northern end of the structure. Captain Bellato did it all last year. Advanced Firefighter Ian Kelsey for demonstrating exceptional bravery during the Eastern War Fire on February 27, 2020, and making the rooftop trench cuts that diverted the flames from the northern end of the structure. Captain Gregory Jacobs for promotion to captain and for being selected as the 2020 Fire Officer of the Year. During his 15 years of service, Captain Jacobs has distinguished himself as a selfless leader and teacher who invests in the growth and development of those he leads. Fire Engineer Ben Spence for being selected 2020 Firefighter of the Year. This 18-year department veteran was nominated by his peers because he is a passionate, hardworking, and resourceful leader who is always eager to build his skills and share his knowledge. Advanced Firefighter Lucas Abrunzo for being named the 2020 Rookie Firefighter of the Year. Advanced Firefighter Abrunzo is a self-motivated and disciplined worker. Since completing the training academy in June of 2019, he has successfully achieved hazardous materials and emergency medical technician certifications and now works with the department's lead hazmat company. Curtis Wallace, retired as Assistant Chief Logistics. And he grew a beard. He retired as Assistant Chief Logistics after more than 23 years of service. Glenn Brantley Jr. retired as captain after more than 30 years of service. Daniel Pridgeon, retired as captain after more than 31 years of service. Michael Mativier, retired as captain after more than 28 years of service. Jason Waterfield, retired as captain after more than 22 years of service. Do you still have that awesome mustache on you?
Yes, ma'am.
Harold Love, retired as a fire engineer after more than 22 years of service. Grady M. Finger, retired as a fire engineer after more than 29 years of service. Mr. Gene Linton, retired as a fire engineer after more than 33 years of service. He has been back on the scene of fires, bringing food for us. At Eastern War Fire, he was there with Chick-fil-A. Anthony Gray, retired as an advanced firefighter after more than 19 years of service. And last but not least, Richard Barefoot, retired as an advanced firefighter after more than 19 years of service. And Chaplain Womble, could you please come up and give us a little inspiration for the road before we go? Oh, Mr. Mayor.
First of all, thank you for joining us all today. I'm going to take a quick moment of mayoral privilege to give what I've learned is the worst kept secret in Savannah, that yesterday was Chief Bernard's birthday. And so let us all join in wishing him a very, very happy birthday with a big round of applause. And I will certainly tell you this about our chief. I've been around now for 18 years in an elected capacity, and Savannah Fire has not always been this way. And I will tell you it's because of leadership, and so we're grateful to have Chief Bernard leading our fire department at this time. So Chief, thank you so much for your leadership, and to everyone else, thank you so much for your service.
It's obvious that the Savannah Fire Department is family. Everywhere you look, it's family for life. And what a great time. So let's close it out with prayer. So Father, once again, Father, we just thank you for these courageous men, Father. Let this just be the beginning, God. We just thank you for each one of them, Father, that they use their talents to the fullness. And God, please give them, Father, we ask for grace and wisdom as they make decisions on the job, Father. So we pray for a hedge of protection over every member of the department. And Father, so at the end of the shift, they go home to their families. Father, they're safe, with no injuries. And God, we just honor you today. We thank you for a spirit of unity and love, Father. And we honor you today in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. So, Chief, could you give us a few parting words?
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and supporting the Savannah Fire Department family. This is a big day. It's a big event, and it really means a lot for your support. As you saw today, that we don't honor an individual in the fire service. We can't do that. It's a team. It takes, we talk about the person that was knocked off the bridge into the river is where they landed. And if I recall correctly, it was on the back bridge. And it took 3 units with technical rescue expertise at the top of their game to pull this person out of the river. It wasn't just going down to the river, going up to the shore, pulling them up, putting them in the basket, lifting them up. It's using ropes over the side of a bridge, going down into the water and pulling them out. And it took 3 companies to do that. When we fight a fire, it can be anywhere from 7 to 20 plus companies on scene. When the crews go in to fight a fire, there's 3 to 4 on every hose line. So it takes a team. It takes trust in your partner. It takes love. It takes value. And it takes to know that that person you're with has your back. The fires that we fight in Savannah and anywhere in this country, it is, it's no joke. I mean, I worked the streets for almost 25 years before I moved into administration. And coming here to Savannah and watching this department work is nothing short of remarkable. I'm telling you, the citizens of Savannah need to know how great this fire department is in all capacities. So thank you for coming, and God bless, and we'll see you out there. All right.
Please join us in the lobby. There's some gifts for everybody, and everybody should be out there, unless it's raining, socializing. So thank you very much for coming.
It's been modernized, it's been worked on.
And it's all set to be used as a big tool in their toolbox. After all, Savannah Fire is deeply dedicated to education.
We're making sure that we can bring it back to the community to deliver fire safety programs to the public again. Each room is specific to the rooms. For example, in the ground floor, which is the living room, there's space heaters, there are fireplaces, there are candles, there's things that natural hazards that happen in the average home. So we'll teach them, don't play with fire, don't play with candles, don't play with matches, don't stick anything to an outlet. It's basic general fire safety tips that unfortunately adults, we tend to take for granted.
The Fire Safety House is equipped with simulated smoke streams. So it's possible to teach the basics for before, during, and after a fire hits home.
So when you go home today, you can talk to your family and ask them, where is our refuge place? Where is our safe refuge place for our fire safety plan? And then you can make one with your family.
Yeah, these are definitely their impressionable years. If we can get to them, especially as young as 5, 6, it leaves lasting impressions. They understand that, in a sense, they bully their parents into doing the right thing. We teach them to get out of fires, meet at a good place, and they go home and they practice these drills. And hopefully they transition from childhood into adulthood having those same traits of getting out of a fire, notifying 911 as an emergency, things like that.
It's all part of preparation and knowledge. Savannah firemen preach what they practice each and every day to keep you safe.
We talk about that safety plan ahead of time. You're prepared to go to a place.
We've had kids that have had small issues at their homes, and they use what we taught them to at least try to get their families out. You know, waking up an adult and having the adult, instead of attempting to handle an emergency on their own, at a minimum dial 911. And that alone spells volumes for our program.
For SGTV's City Span, I'm Ken Slatz.
Hello, how are you? Good. I will have a soda and cranberry, please.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hello, Savannah. I'm Keisha Gibson Carter, Alderwoman at Large for Post 1. Nothing matters more than the health, safety, and vitality of our community. I am so excited to address the issues related to alcohol-facilitated rape, underage drinking, and drunk driving. We are doing this through our Safe Bar initiative. Shortly, I will be joined by individuals who are partnering with the City of Savannah to help us promote these prevention initiatives.
Hey ladies, how are we doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. May I see your ID as well? So, I guess that's what happens when I'm late, huh?
I am so excited about what we're doing with the Safe Bar. It's so exciting to put such a focus on prevention and awareness and what that type of education can do to reduce harm in our city. So I'm really thankful to be here with y'all.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And I'm glad that we could still make sure that they're going to make money during this initiative too.
Yeah.
We want them to be safe, their customers will be safe, and they still get the dollar.
Well, I'm just excited to present to the community information and education with regard to responsible alcohol consumption as well as service. Nothing else is as important to us than the health and safety of our community, as well as opportunities for our businesses to maintain in this fiscal climate.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, I have a question for you. So we're working a partnership with nonprofits, businesses in the city of Savannah to do the Savannah Safe Bar. So we have these posters. This is a BAC chart, and we're just asking for businesses to display it in their behind the bar as a gentle reminder for patrons and for employees about, you know, where your blood alcohol content is and maybe when the time to cut it off is.
Right.
And this is one that's directly speaking to rape prevention. Alcohol consumption plays a major role in the facilitation of rape and sexual assault. Okay, so listen, next steps. As we have come to this table and we agree that prevention of underage drinking, prevention of alcohol facilitated rape, and encouraging responsible drinking so that we forego episodes of DUI and drunk driving that ultimately oftentimes result in fatalities. What are our next steps? How do we now continue to spread the word is what we want to do. And we want to say to all of Savannah and Chatham County even, this program is here, this opportunity is here, and we need local businesses to join this effort, recognizing that this is a win-win.
Right.
This is a win-win both for the businesses as well as for our patrons.
And it doesn't just prevent underage drinking, DUI, sexual assault. There's so much that alcohol can relate to. So even we look at our violence issues, our loitering, our littering. There's just so much that this can increase, including revenues and sales. So I think,
good point.
I think just raising awareness in general that we exist, that we want to do this, and that we need to have these courageous conversations regarding alcohol. And we want other people to be involved in the conversation.
Right. And in as much as we promote that Savannah is a great place to come and party and have fun, and you can actually walk down the street with an open container.
Right.
Like, where else in the nation can you do this? But here in Savannah, we also want to incorporate responsibility with that liberality.
Yeah, and it would be responsible on both sides. The establishment would have the proper training to make sure they're not over pouring or over serving, and knowing what to look for with underage that are trying to come in to get alcohol. But it also helps on the patron side as well. They come into an establishment where they know they're going to be safe, they know they're going to be taken care of. Like you said, it's a win-win.
You turn on your tap and out flows fresh, clean drinking water. This water travels through a labyrinth of underground pipe and arrives safely at your home. The 73 employees of Savannah's Supply and Distribution are responsible for the transmission of that water. They maintain over 989 miles of water main pipes, some installed back in the mid-1800s, 6,700 fire hydrants, and 50 groundwater wells. This infrastructure provides drinking water and fire protection to over 180,000 customers in the city of Savannah and surrounding Chatham, Effingham, and Bryan counties. Savannah's distribution system is tied to your home at your water meter. The city owns and maintains all of the water mains, water meters, and hydrants on public property and rights of way. The pipe connected from the meter to your home, called a lateral service line, is your responsibility. It is helpful to know where your water meter is located. Generally, your water meter is at the front of your property adjacent to a street or sidewalk, typically at the property line. Your meter can help you answer questions regarding your bill and can help you determine if you have a water leak in your home. If you have an unusually high water bill, especially in the winter months, you may have a leak. Here are 3 easy steps to check for leaks. 1. Inspect all faucets to ensure they are not dripping. A gasket or aerator may need replacing. 2. Listen for the sound of the toilet tank filling back up with water when it hasn't been flushed. The cause is often an old decaying flapper. They are inexpensive and easy to replace. 3. Check the reading on your water meter before and after a few hours when no water is being used. If the meter does not read exactly the same number, you have a leak. The U.S. EPA estimates that household leaks can waste more than 1 trillion gallons every year nationwide. Savannah's good, clean water is just too valuable to waste. Be vigilant and fix those leaks. The city takes leaks very seriously too. If you see running or standing water in the street, please call 311. There are several important things to know when reading your bill. While most residents refer to it as their water bill, it is actually a utility bill and covers water, sewer, trash, and recycling services provided by the City of Savannah. To generate your utility bill, your meter is read and you're billed every 2 months. The City of Savannah Water and Distribution Services is rated as some of the best in the Southeast by the America Water Works Association and Raftellus Financial Annual Rate Survey Report. In addition, the city's Insurance Service Office ISO rating is a 1, due in large part to the excellence of the water supply and distribution services. This rating helps your fire insurance costs stay low. The most essential feature of a thriving community and productive economy are reliable water services and a healthy environment. The City of Savannah's water supply and distribution staff are a dedicated and responsible group of water professionals serving this community's needs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The coronavirus has us all using more paper towels, wipes, and shop towels than ever before. Please throw them in the trash. These items should never be flushed down the toilet because they can cause unsanitary sewer overflows. A friendly reminder to flush only toilet paper down your toilet.
Achievements of the City of Savannah, something we haven't been able to do out in public for quite some time now, and especially the achievements of SPLOST 6. This is another SPLOST project paid for by the special purpose local option sales tax, the petty tax, paid for mostly by visitors to our great city. Now, if you look at the facility here, it may look a lot like Bradley Point and Sweetwater. That's because it's not identical, but it's pretty close. Same designer, same design, their prototypes. The designer, Kernan Company, on this project, and the contractor, the general contractor, Dab Williams. Also, the person that was the liaison between our capital projects manager, Leif Blomberg, and he's the one, as for the media, if you need to talk to someone about details about this project, he certainly has all of them. A lot of special guests with us today, starting with a longtime District 1 alderman, and now our Mayor, Van Johnson, is with us. Also, the District 1 alderwoman, Bernetta Lanier. Thank you all for coming. You're on that side. Thank you all for coming out with us. Our city manager, Michael Brown, our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd, is up here with us. I see our Chief Operating Officer, Brett Bell, is with us. Also, Police Chief Roy Minter, raise your hand. I saw him a moment ago. He is here. He is here. Also, our Fire Chief, Derek Menard, with us as well. Now, we will have the honor guard, I believe, or we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Chief William Handy will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance before we get things started. I'm not sure we're going to have the posting of the colors, correct? All right. Chief?
Thank you, Ken. If I could have everybody position looking to your right and my left, we're going to be saying the Pledge of Allegiance. If you please stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Chief Handy. For the invocation we have with us, thanks a lot to our chaplain, Chris Menzies.
Thank you very much. A little bit taller than everybody else, I think. I make sure I write down. I got about 5 pages here. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get there. But I just want to thank you all for being here. And Lord, thank you for being here with us today on this ceremony. And Almighty Lord of all the earth, look down on us as we ask and pray and thank you each in our own way. Give us strength to honor you. Let our knowledge of you be our guide to living and dying with the faith, hope, and love you have bestowed upon us. Teach us to be tolerant of each other, knowing that we do not get to the kingdom of heaven on the same highway. Bless our families and communities with the faith and understanding we all need to continue on the road until we return to your home. Guide us through this day and all days that you give to us to do your work. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaplain Menzies. Don't go too far, because at the end we will have you come back for the blessing of the facility. Time for some opening remarks here as well. First, we'll have Mayor Van Johnson come up. After him, immediately, Bernetta Lanier, our alderwoman from District 1, and then our city manager, Michael Brown.
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure just to be anywhere. And today we are celebrating strength, we're celebrating innovation, we're celebrating resiliency, all in the midst of what we've been in and involved in for the last year or so. It was only a year and a half that we got together in this space to actually turn ground on what we would see today. And so much has happened since then. But the story actually goes before that. As we look at this area, which is among our fastest growing in our city, certainly in our county, in our community, as we struggle to be able to provide services for our citizens that they pay for and they so desperately deserve. For us, it was an opportunity to include this new state-of-the-art station as a part of the city's SPLOST package. And I will say again and again, the SPLOST works. But it's really also a testament to Team Savannah, because even though we were facing a worldwide pandemic, even though people were working remotely and from home, there was still work that needed to be done every single day. The strength and the courage of Savannah Fire, still putting out fires, and the strength and resiliency of Team Savannah and all of our partners putting this facility together to have it delivered. We were so tired of that temporary trailer, and I'm hoping that after this, the chief will let me go ahead and take a torch and burn it down so that Savannah Fire can put the fire out. Our First District Highlands neighbors and our Savannah firefighters deserve this permanent state-of-the-art facility to protect our families, to protect our neighbors and homes in this neighborhood, and to be served to the best of the city's ability. We have the best fire department in this region, I would dare to say in the state, and where our citizens are, Savannah Fire needs to be. I'm committed to continuing to work with the city manager and now with Alderwoman Lanier to include and consider the needs of other things we need out here in this area. Soon to come, police services, and also to build out our recreation and other types of facilities. What you see today is $3.8 million. As Ken said, $3.8 million that we didn't totally pay for. And so that's why it's important for us when we come to the community about special purpose local option sales tax, we see the results of what that means in our community. So I'm thrilled today to welcome these firefighters to their new home, now the envy of the entire fire service. Everybody wants to be here, but everybody can't come here. Sorry, Chief. Chief wants to move out here. Sorry, he can't come. We want to thank Chief Menard and again our fire team for all of their work. And again, we appreciate this day, but more importantly, we appreciate what it represents, that we are still Savannah strong. Thank you.
Good morning, Highlands. I want to thank you for the invitation to be here today, and I'm here just to witness this great event. This is a great day because we get an opportunity to see a delivery of a promise that was made by your city government. So just to be here and witness all of the work that has gone into us being here, standing here in front of this building, I would like to acknowledge all of those people that took part in this, from the administrative point of the construction, the fire department that had to do all of the coordination. And I thought about the residents of the Highlands. And after you drive that long drive from work and you arrive home to relax in a beautiful, burgeoning, growing community, that if there is a tragedy, if there is a need for these services, that there's some type of assuredness now that they will arrive in a timely manner and they will be the best of the best in their training and their passion and their ability to service you. So I thought about the residents here and I said, this is a good thing. And because this is the fastest growing community in the city, we are experiencing growing pains, and there are a lot of other needs that the residents have for this growing community. And I insist that the residents, your voice is heard and that you're at the table. But there is a difference in this new growing community in some of the more historical parts of the First District, and that's in the organization. When I go to City Council and I speak, I want to make sure that I'm representing the voice, that collective voice. So that's an area where we need to work to make sure that you are organized, because that's a powerful thing, so that someone could speak on your behalf and that you all have coordinated and have a democratic process where all voices can be heard, and that's very important. Had you been at the table maybe 30 or 40 years ago, we wouldn't have the problem there on Highway 30 coming through and Benton Boulevard, because you would have had the vision to see that that design led to a lot of problems that we're dealing with. So I ask you to please continue to work with us in those areas, continue to let your voices be heard as to what other amenities are needed in the Highlands, continue to join us on days like today to celebrate this great day, this great facility, and I thank you all again for the invitation, and I am looking forward to hearing from you and working with you as we continue to grow and build this great community. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name's Michael Brown. I just blinded myself, so I won't look at any notes. I can't see without sunglasses. I too want to help mark this occasion, but I want to do that by thanking every single person that's present. For first and foremost the fire team, the support employees, the first responders, the command staff. I want to thank all those who helped make this possible, our capital construction teams and our financial teams, our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd, Brett Bell is here. I want to thank Chief Mentor for being here and our other cooperators in the emergency management, Chatham Emergencies here, a whole lot of other folks. I want to thank all of you. We're marking the occasion, but let me try to quickly say, how did we get here? Well, we got here from the conversion of native woodlands to cotton fields worked by slaves, and then cotton fields worked by people with indentures, converted to cultivated woodlands when the paper industry came here. And in the 1930s, the city of Savannah had the foresight to build a major surface water treatment that you may have come by on Highway 21 on the way here. So that in the 90s, as Pooler was out of water, they were out of wastewater, they could not have ever built all of the retail and the commercial and the residential that you see. And CEDA, the Savannah Economic Development Authority, was attempting to build Crossroads. So once again, we expanded the plant, we expanded our wastewater capacity, we extended trunks under I-95, and we made all of this possible. It takes a lot of money, and as the mayor says, it took SPLOST money, much of which comes from the commercial base that we support with this fire department and with our police. And that's what created Highlands, which sometimes people consider to be a non sequitur, but it's not. It's a natural progression of the services and the quality that we see all throughout the city. As Bernetta has often said, we must ensure that this area of the city is just as important as any other, and I agree. First news is Forsyth Park is right over here about a quarter of a mile away. Not the original, but a new Forsyth Park. So I pledge to you that the down payment of SPLOST will now progress to the real money, which it takes to provide this high level of fire service. It takes that kind of equipment, these kind of responders, that kind of mower, I guess, to make this place work. And in the brief time that I'm here, I'm going to try to pledge that we continue this progression that the city of Savannah has helped to bring to this area. And as Bernetta said, let's make it as high quality of living as everywhere else in Savannah. You deserve it, and we deserve it, and we planned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Alderwoman, and Mayor. You know, the mayor mentioned about having one of the greatest fire stations in the country, and I think it's important to keep telling you that we are, because we're an ISO 1 rated facility, and facilities like this and the technology that our chief will tell you about that's put in, that helps us maintain and keep that ISO 1 rating, and that is extremely important. With that, Derek Menard, our fire chief.
Good morning. This is a happy day. I know the men and women of Station 14 are thrilled. We had a temporary station that our firefighters were in for over 10 years. So I'm not sure we can call that really temporary, but we certainly did our best in order to do so. So it's a great day to be here. Again, I'm Derek Menard. I'm the fire chief for the Savannah Fire Department. On behalf of the entire fire department, we'd like to welcome all of you for coming to the opening of Station 14. I'd like to extend a thank you to the mayor, city manager, alderwoman, and everybody else that is here. There's a lot of people here that showed up, and our partners.
Chief, I'm going to interrupt.
Yep.
One of the things that I tried to bring to this city, you can call it Station 14, but give it a name that we all know, and that would be what? Highlands?
Highlands.
The Highlands Station.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. We will do that. All right, to the city, or to the citizens of Savannah and the Highlands, this is your fire station. Station 14 is dedicated to you. When we build a fire station, it's a partnership with the community, and we become embedded in your neighborhood. This is a beautiful facility that you can be proud of. The firefighters have been in a temporary building for over a decade and have proudly served you with exceptional service. Through SPLOST funding, the permanent station is complete behind me and will serve as a home to firefighters who protect Savannah and the Highlands community. When a fire station is built, it's not only a place of business, but it also serves as a firefighter's second home. The firefighters spend a third of their life at the fire station. A firefighter works a 24-hour shift and is away from their family and their home during that time. A station needs to be functional from a firefighting standpoint, emergency response, but also include the comforts of a home. In addition, it's also a public facility where citizens are encouraged to stop by and say hello, have a blood pressure check, or schedule a tour. Station 14 meets this criteria and is a facility that will serve you and us well. Station 14 is home to Engine 14 and is staffed with a crew of 4 firefighters, 24/7, 365 days a year. The station was built with an expansion in mind, as previously mentioned, and allows the fire department to increase services as the community grows. It features 3 bays behind me that are 2 deep with direct diesel exhaust system to reduce exposure to cancer-causing carcinogens. The storage area for firefighters' turnout gear is also separate from the bay behind me. The station is designed to give firefighters their own bedrooms and give them privacy after a busy day. It has a modern kitchen to prepare meals, an area to work out, and a place to train and unwind in the day room. We are grateful to the citizens for approving the funding of this modern facility. There are many people I would like to thank. I would like to thank Mayor Johnson and City Council for supporting the Savannah Fire Department and helping us expand our services to serve the community. I would like to thank now retired Battalion Chief Scott Goolsby, I see him over there with the beard, Assistant Chief Elsie Kitchen behind me, Assistant Chief Handy, and retired Assistant Chief Curtis Wallace that were really oversaw the project from the fire department standpoint. I'd like to thank the firefighters for being in the temporary station for over 10 years, then also for helping make this move happen to set up their home. I would like to thank Leif Blomberg and all city staff that oversaw the project and assured its success. In addition, we'd like to thank Tom Olson, Principal Architect, Kern & Company, Janet Lewis, Consultant Project Manager, Kern & Company, Brad Reiner, Construction Project Manager, Dabbs Williams General Contractors, Jay James, Construction Superintendent, Dabbs Williams General Contractors, and Tanya Mandel, Landscape Architect, Mandel Design. And finally, we'd like to thank Mr. Melvin Leland, who donated cookies that you will get to enjoy here in a few minutes, and then also Miss Brittany Williams for donating these balloon columns that you see behind us as well. I would just want to give you a heartfelt thank you for being here with us today. This is an exciting time for us. Anytime we get to open a new fire station, it's a big deal for our community and for the city of Savannah. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. To the media, Chief Kitchen here will give you guys a tour if you want. He'll talk about some of the technology, some of the safety technology that we've been able to put into this facility, which hopefully in the future we will fold into some of the other facilities as well. Before we get to the ceremonial uncoupling in front of us, thanks for bringing that aboard, Chief Bernard. Chief Menard, we used to have the ribbon cuttings, but now we know that we can do an uncoupling, something new to us here in the city. But before we do that, to finish things up here at the podium, Chaplain Menzie will give us a blessing of this facility.
So is anybody else feeling the humidity? I was going to complain about it being a Colorado boy, but then I realized the firefighters, the gear they have to put on when they go out and protect the community, and it's a lot. And I want to thank everybody for being here again. As we meet this morning, we bring together some great traditions. We will do what firefighters have done for years, stand in pride before a new firehouse, lovingly cared for by those who brought it to its current state of readiness. We can now see and touch the product of their efforts and know that it brings with it a great blessing for the citizens of this community and the city of Savannah. When you talk of blessing something, we are also brought into the company of those whom we cannot immediately see. The firefighters who preceded us, who called for divine help as they met the challenges of firefighting during their time in history. A blessing begins with a view that we live with many unknowns, So we call upon God to guide and protect us under all circumstances. So Heavenly Father, we come before you today to ask your blessing over this Fire Station 14. May those that work within its walls be blessed, and may the community that is now served understand the blessings they have received from you. We are thankful for the leadership of the City of Savannah, the Fire Department, and the community that has shown support for this new station. May the Lord bless you all and keep you safe. May his light shine upon you and be with you always. Amen.
Just a quick moment of personal privilege. Is anybody here, any Highlands residents that are here? All right, let's show some love for our Highlands residents. So, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you all again for coming. Chief Menard will let you lead the way on the uncoupling with yourself and our elected officials. I'm just gonna go the bottom. Just grab the bottom hook. Okay, I got you. We'll go my way. Actually, just go straight backwards.
Now, this is new for all of us now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but not too much. So you have to push in just a little bit towards the there we go. All right. You don't need the big knife. Yeah, no, make sure of that. All right. There we go.
joining me this morning. Thank you for accommodating our unusual change in schedule. We're thinking about those in Afghanistan and thinking about those in Haiti, thinking about those on the West Coast. And although there's not much we can do here in Savannah, I think that when you consider your own issues and when you see what people are going through, it makes you grateful for your situation, for whatever it is. So our thoughts are with them. Our hearts are saddened by the passing this weekend of Representative Mickey Stevens. Mickey Stevens meant a lot of different things to different people. To Gloria, he was a husband. To Carlos and Edward Jr., he was a father. To thousands, he was a teacher, a coach. To the residents of the 165th House District, he was their champion at the Georgia Dome. To the Georgia Legislative Delegation, he was a trusted and reliable colleague. And to me, he was a friend, my fraternity brother, and one of my earliest and constant political supporters. His legacy of advocacy on behalf of young people and his constituents will always be remembered and cherished by our city. So we send out condolences, but gratefulness for a well-lived life of Representative Edward Mickey Stevens. The long-awaited census results were released last week and were essentially in line with what we expected. We believed, and we still hold the belief, that the pandemic led to some undercounting in some areas of our community. It is what it is. We were not the only community that had those challenges. We expected that Chatham County's population would grow, and it did, growing 11.4%, totaling 295,291. And, as expected, our community grew more racially diverse. Bryan and Effingham counties, as expected, grew at much faster rates, 48% and 24% respectively. Even with the explosive growth in Bryan and Effingham counties, Chatham County still represents 73% of the Tri-Counties area's population. And the city of Savannah, as expected, still maintains more than 50% of Chatham County's total population, albeit by a increasingly slim margin, but we're still 50% of Chatham. As expected, Savannah surrounding municipalities saw large population growth. Pooler, Garden City, and Port Wentworth saw growth levels at 17.2, 34.3, and 110.3, respectively. Our city has also become more diverse, as expected. Savannah's black population, or black residents, dropped from 55.4% to 49.1%, a loss of almost 3,000 residents, and that number 3,000 resonates here. Our white residents dropped from 38.3% to 37.9%. Our Hispanic and Latino residents increased from 4.7% to 6.6%, an increase of about 3,000 residents. And our Asian residents increased from 2% to 3.8%, an increase of almost 3,000 residents. So we believe that there are many reasons for this population shift. many which are consistent with national trends, as suburbia has become more attractive to urban dwellers. As people do better, people want more land for their money, and cities generally can't provide the acreage, oftentimes cannot provide the new construction, so people want to remain within the area, but then will find neighboring bedroom communities by which to do that. So we understand that. We also understand that locally, our housing affordability remains a challenge for many Savannahans, and our administration has proactively attempted to tackle these issues with the Housing Savannah Task Force, which has presented to the public Savannah's first ever affordable housing plan. It will make housing affordable, available, and accessible for Savannahans. I'm hoping that this plan will be adopted by council sometime maybe next month, and have the non-government organization that is recommended by the plan launched in January to administer our affordable housing plan. We also have to recognize that only about 45% of the city of Savannah employees actually live in the city of Savannah, which means we have some work to do, and perhaps to investigate various incentives to make living in Savannah more attractive to city of Savannah employees. It makes no sense to me that money made in the city of Savannah is invested outside of our city. So we have to become more competitive, and so we'll be looking at ways to do that. Further, the creation of the OLA Task Force, the PROUD Task Force, and the soon-to-be announced AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander Task Force, will be creating and are creating mutually beneficial relationships and partnerships with our growing communities to proactively address their unique needs. COVID is growing out of control in our city, and if things don't change quickly, increased measures will be necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare. Tourism continues to boom in our city, but as someone who is often out in these streets, I see packed indoor locations, I see packed tour vehicles, and very few people wearing masks, which means that unfortunately a lot of us are not taking this situation as seriously as we should, so more restrictions may be necessary. We instituted the mask mandate as a precautionary measure to emphasize the importance of our impending situation, to increase vaccinations, and to slow the spread of COVID-19. Obviously, this is not working as we had hoped. So this week, I will be meeting again with our medical advisory team to reassess our situation and to seek recommendations. It appears to me at this point that without any substantial change in our compliance with the current mandate or our vaccination rate, further restrictions, permit suspensions, and cancellations are imminent. We tried to do what we could with minimal disruption, but it appears not to be working as we have hoped. So additional action may be necessary and probably soon to come. So stay tuned. Chatham County's 7-day rolling average of new cases was 235.6 as of August the 12th, another all-time high. As of Friday, our community transmission index was 998. Less than a week ago, it was 767. On June 28th, it was 41. June 28th, 41. Friday, 998. As a reminder, the Community Transmission Index represents the number of individuals per 100,000 testing positive for COVID in our county in the last 14 days. And so that is 1% of our population which has tested positive for COVID in the last 2 weeks. Our positive test percentage is now consistently greater than 20% after being just 3.5% on July the 9th. As of Friday, more than 221 people are in Chatham County hospitals with COVID-19, which is our highest number ever. And it's been reported to me that of those in the hospital, almost 90% of those in the hospital because of COVID are unvaccinated. So we've had breakthrough cases, but those are far and few between. The majority of those in the hospital with COVID are unvaccinated. So simply put, our numbers are terrible. They're horrible. They're abysmal. Until more of us are vaccinated, again, I implore you to wear a mask, wash your hands, and socially distance when we're around people who are not in our household. Savannah's mask mandate requires people to wear a mask or a face covering in City of Savannah government buildings, hospitals, early childhood centers, elementary and secondary institutions, guided tours within a vehicle, and on federally regulated transportation. And we'll start enforcing that in a big way. All restaurants, retail stores, grocery stores, and pharmacies in the city are strongly encouraged, again, to require their employees